Good morning and welcome to our extraordinary meeting for Thursday the 28th of October 2021. So I'll declare our meeting open. No apologies this morning. Councillor Belsky is on leave of absence. So we can go straight to item 3, declarations of interest, where any of our team need to declare a conflict on any of the items on the agenda today. I'm assuming not. Absolutely, we are ratepayers. So that's great. We can go straight to the officer's report. We're on page 4, and this is our item today: the revocation and alteration of the rating resolution made on the 29th of June. And as you will recall, this is to finalise the Local Government Rating Act process that we need to correct an error that was made in the calculations for the rating for this financial year. And now that the public notice period has been completed, we can now address the resolutions that we need to reset those rates. So we have the report there. I'll hand it over to Shane, our Chief Executive, or Amanda for any comments before we open it up for discussion.
Thank you, Bishop. I'll just make a couple of comments. This is very much part of the statutory process under the Rating Act. So it's how we agreed we would address the issue of the rates for emissions that we found after the rates resolution was adopted. So to get into the detail, we have had this legally reviewed. So hand over to Amanda.
Thank you. As you recall, we have had the numbers, the calculations all checked by Audit New Zealand. So we've had the rates themselves checked, and that they now come back to the value that we're expecting. And then we've had the actual the notice that we named into the newspaper. The public notice has been legally checked, and the resolutions, both the initial one and this one, have also been checked.
Thank you. Right, so we have all the details there and the resolutions. Let's open it up for questions or comments around the table. Councillor Campbell.
Was there any response to the engagement? The 4 pages of advertisement and so on. Did we get any community response back at all from anyone?
One. Was there one?
Yes, we had one person wrote in and said that our public notice was illegal.
Oh, yes.
So we responded with it's not, and that's it. So it wasn't actually complaining about the rates or anything. It was just actually that he perceived that the notice himself was not legally right.
Because my name and title wasn't added to the one notice, but it wasn't an election notice. Right. And it had been legally reviewed.
Great pitch. I mean, you're going for election, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions in regards to that? It is all self-explanatory, and it's all laid out there in those recommendations. Councillor Humphrey.
Thank you. And probably a question to Councillor Campbell as Chair of Audit and Risk. What this report doesn't speak to is how error was identified in the first place, and there's no commentary about where internal controls might need to be strengthened. So my question is this matter going to be coming through as part of the audit and risk agenda in terms of elected members and officers having a discussion around the sufficiency and adequacy of those internal controls?
I would think that would be a very good suggestion. Obviously, I'm sure Amanda has addressed her systems following this, but it could well be other improvements we can make, and we don't want similar errors occurring anywhere else. That would be appropriate, yes.
I think it's exactly where it needs to go, to audit and risk, for a discussion around what measures are being put in place so that we have the confidence that that's been covered and there are processes and monitoring in place so it doesn't happen again.
So would it therefore be a suggestion perhaps to add a motion that the matter is referred to audit and risk for discussion around internal controls?
Yes, I think we could do that as an additional recommendation. Anything further discussion before we go to the recommendations?
I could note, Your Worship, Amanda did take me through the detailed calculations she does do. Thank you very much, Amanda, to show me how to. And I think we're all aware our rating system is pretty complex with, you know, all the hierarchies of differentials and target rates and everything that goes into it. So it's not a simple calculation. I mean, the spreadsheet process that is used to calculate the rates is can be prone to errors with as all spreadsheet calculations can be. So yeah, it'd be worth having a look at to see if we can make improvements to how that works.
Thank you. Councillor Marshall, Councillor Corrie on Zoom. Do you have any questions or comments? No? Excellent. Right. So we do have the recommendations in front of us on page 4. I don't expect you to read out the many pages of detail. However, we do have those recommendations. Councillor Campbell, would you like to move those?
All right. Right. Recommendations, right. The following resolutions, the extraordinary council meeting held 29th of June set out below number 1A to B be revoked. That the Manawatu District Council, in pursuit of the exercise of powers conferred on it by the Local Government Rating Act 2002 and other empowering provisions, resolves to set the following rates on rating units of the district for the financial year commencing 1 July 2021 and ending 30 June 2022. I don't propose to read the whole table. If somebody would like to do that.
As outlined below.
Thank you. As outlined below, yes. Do you also want to add the a further recommendation in regards to referring this to the audit risk?
Excuse me, could we take this motion first? And there's also a 2 and an add 2.1 for this motion that you need to do to revoke the earlier one and replace it with these. Any other motions we need to do once this has been dealt with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was 2.1. Page 10. Oh, there it is. All right, I'll read and the following the following resolution set out below number 2.1A to B be made in their place. That the Manawatu District Council, in pursuit of the exercise of powers conferred to it by the Local Government Rating Act 2002 and other empowering provisions, resolves to set the following rates on rating units of the district financial year commencing 1 July 2021 and ending 30 June 2022 as set out below.
Thank you. So we have both those recommendations. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Casey. Any further discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? The motion is carried. Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
Councillor Humphrey might like to.
Yes, look, I'm going to move that. Just trying to think about the appropriate language that this matter is reviewed, order and risk for further discussion and assurance around internal controls.
Thank you. I'm happy to second that. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is carried. Thank you. So that brings, so we've completed the reset. The process is now in place. Shane, would you like to, or Amanda, just confirm with us the process from here?
So as soon as I hit send on my email, the team will start the reset process. So they have done most of it, or to be fair, they've done all of the pre-work. They've restored the database of our properties to make sure that they're as close as possible to how they will be reset. I think from memory, there are only 2 properties that aren't exactly the same, so we'll have to manually do some calculations around that. But in essence, they've unwound any subdivisions, any amalgamations, de-amalgamations, that kind of thing. They will run a version of this in the test system, most likely today, and double check that before they have it again tomorrow. Then tomorrow they run the actual strike, that then gets checked and cross-referenced against the test system to make sure it came out exactly how we expected it, and then it then reconciles back to the values that we're expecting to recover. The next step of that process is that they also look at any property that has a direct debit. We recalculate the direct debits because the amount that we're receiving monthly, quarterly, weekly, annually will be different. There's a letter ready to go out to anybody with direct debits, notifying them that their value will have changed, what the new value is. And they also, and then the rates notice goes to the printer and will be out the 1st of November or something like that. It's got a 15th of November, I think it is. So the rates notice will go out at the same time the DD notice goes out. Sorry, it's felt like I speak that to you.
Great. Thank you. Any further questions on this topic or comments before we close? No? That being the case, I will declare our meeting closed.